Captain Marcus Reed stood in the middle of the huge crystal room where the Galactic Council made their big decisions. His hands were behind his back and he tried to look calm even though inside he felt nervous. The alien judges sat in their tall chairs looking down at him like he was some kind of dangerous criminal. The lead judge was a tall blue alien called Veltar who had 4 eyes and a voice that sounded like he was always angry. He pointed at a special box that had thick glass walls and energy shields around it. Inside the box was just a simple red pepper that looked harmless. This human called Marcus Reed is here because his people make dangerous weapons, Veltar said in a loud voice that echoed around the room. They call these weapons food, but we know better. This red thing almost killed 17 of our best diplomats 3 weeks ago. Marcus remembered that day very well. Ambassador Liu had brought some chicken with hot peppers to welcome the alien visitors. The aliens had eaten it thinking it was safe, normal food. Within minutes, half of them were running around screaming and drinking water. Some had to go to the hospital because they thought they were dying. The humans put poison in their food on purpose, said another judge who looked like a big jellyfish. They drink a black liquid that makes them crazy and excited. They eat moldy milk that smells terrible. They put white powder on everything that burns your mouth. Marcus wanted to laugh because the aliens were talking about coffee and cheese and salt like they were deadly weapons. But he knew this was serious. The aliens really believed that human food was trying to kill them. The trial went on for 3 hours. The aliens talked about garlic like it was toxic gas. They said chocolate was a dangerous drug. They showed pictures of humans eating spicy food and their faces turning red and water coming from their eyes. To the aliens, this looked like torture. How can you hurt yourselves like this every day? Asked a robot judge whose voice sounded like a computer. Your people eat poison and seem to enjoy it. This is not normal behavior. Marcus stood up straight and looked at all the judges. Your honors, we have been eating these foods for thousands of years. They are not weapons. They are part of who we are. They make us happy and bring us together. When we share food, we share love. The aliens started making worried noises. Some of them got up and left the room because they were scared. They could not understand why humans would eat things that hurt them. The human admits they have been poisoning themselves for thousands of years, Veltar announced. This proves they are dangerous to themselves and everyone else. They cannot tell the difference between food and poison. The other judges agreed. Quickly, they said Earth would be cut off from the rest of the galaxy. No human food could be sent to other planets. Humans would have to eat special nutrition blocks that the aliens made. These blocks had everything the human body needed, but no taste at all. We are doing this to help you, said the jellyfish judge. We will save you from your addiction to poison food. In time you will thank us for making you healthy. Marcus felt angry, but he did not show it. What if we refuse to eat your nutrition blocks? Then you will starve, Veltar said with no emotion. In his voice, we cannot allow dangerous food to exist in our galaxy. Every human restaurant will be closed. Every human farm will be watched. Every human cook will be retrained. The decision was final. Guards came to take Marcus back to his ship. As he walked through the crystal corridors, he could see aliens looking at him with fear and disgust. They really believed he was some kind of monster who ate poison for fun. On the ship ride back to Earth, Marcus talked to his crew about what had happened. They could not believe that aliens were so afraid of human food. His cook Tom brought him a sandwich with mustard and pickles. It tasted like freedom. Captain, what are we going to do? Asked his second officer Beth. They want to take away everything that makes our food special. We will find a way, Marcus said. They think our love of flavor makes us weak. They are about to learn it makes us strong. When they reached Earth, Marcus found a planet in chaos. The news had spread fast. Restaurants were being closed by alien inspectors. Farmers were being told they could not grow spices anymore. Grocery stores were replacing all human food with bland gray blocks that tasted like cardboard. People were angry, but they were also scared. The aliens had powerful weapons and fast ships. Earth could not fight them in a normal war. But Marcus knew humans had something the aliens did not understand. They had creativity and passion and the will to fight for what they loved. In the big cities, people started meeting in secret. Chefs hid their spices in basement rooms. Grandmothers wrote down family recipes and hid them like treasure maps. Children learned to identify herbs by smell so they could find them later. The aliens had made a big mistake. They thought taking away human food would make humans weak and obedient. Instead, it made them angry and determined. The flavor revolution was about to begin. Marcus stood on his apartment balcony looking out at the city. Tomorrow the alien food inspectors would come to his building. They would take away his hot sauce and his coffee and his chocolate. They would give him nutrition blocks and expect him to be grateful, but tonight he would eat real food. Tonight, he would taste the flavors that made him human. And tomorrow he would start planning how to get them back. The war for the right to eat good food was about to begin. The aliens had no idea what they had started. They had just declared war on human culture itself, and humans would fight back one meal at a time. 3 months had passed since the aliens banned human food, and everything had changed in ways nobody expected. Dr. Lisa Park stood in the space station above Earth watching another alien research ship come closer. This was the 10th one this week, and she was getting tired of explaining the same things over and over. The aliens could not understand how humans were still alive after eating poison for so long. They kept sending scientists to study human bodies and brains. They wanted to know what made humans different from other species in the galaxy. "Dr. Park?" called her assistant Tom from across the room. "The blue aliens from the Zentari system want to do more tests on human volunteers. They want to see how we resist toxins." Lisa shook her head. The aliens still did not get it. They thought humans had special powers that let them eat dangerous food. They did not understand that the food was not dangerous at all. It was just different from what they were used to. Down on Earth, the nutrition blocks were making people sick in new ways. Not sick in their bodies, but sick in their hearts. The gray blocks gave them all the vitamins and minerals they needed, but eating them felt like punishment. People lost weight and their skin looked pale. They had no energy and no joy, but humans are clever and they do not give up easily. In the old subway tunnels under New York City, a man named Bobby had opened a secret restaurant. He called it the Burning Tongue, and people paid huge amounts of money to eat there. A single hot pepper cost as much as a week of nutrition blocks. "You have to understand," Bobby explained to Dr. Core, a lizard-like alien scientist who had come to study human eating habits. "Food is not just fuel for our bodies. It carries our memories and our feelings. When I eat my grandmother's soup recipe, I remember her hugs and her stories." Dr. Core watched in amazement as Bobby ate a spoonful of mild salsa. The alien's heat sensors showed that the peppers should have been burning Bobby's mouth, but he looked happy instead of hurt. "The capsaicin compounds register as pure poison on our equipment," Dr. Core said. "How do you not die from eating this?" Bobby smiled and took another bite. "Because we are built different than you. What hurts you makes us feel good. Evolution made us this way for a reason." Word spread quickly through the alien scientific community. The humans were not just surviving their toxic diet. They were getting stronger from it. This was impossible. According to everything the aliens knew about biology. Meanwhile, a huge black market had formed around human spices. People smuggled tiny amounts of salt and pepper like they were precious jewels. Criminal gangs fought over territories where they could grow secret herbs. A single bay leaf could buy a month of nutrition blocks. The aliens responded by making the rules even stricter. They put scanning devices around Earth that could detect the smallest trace of human spices. They sent inspector ships to check every building and every person. They thought they could stop the spice trade with technology and force, but they had no idea how creative humans could be when they were desperate. People learned to hide spices inside their clothes and hair. They mixed tiny amounts into paint and soap. They trained dogs to find hidden stashes of cinnamon and oregano. Captain Reed got a secret message from the resistance movement. It was written in code using words that sounded like cooking instructions. The message said the biggest operation yet was about to begin. They called it Operation Hot Sauce. In kitchens hidden all over the world, people were working together to preserve human food culture. Master chefs taught young people how to make spices from common plants. Scientists figured out how to make artificial flavors that the alien scanners could not detect. The aliens had thought that taking away human food would make humans weak and easy to control. Instead, it made them work together in ways they never had before. Rich and poor, young and old, people from every country joined the resistance. They were united by their love of good food. Dr. Core was not the only alien who was curious about human eating habits. Other scientists from different species were also studying humans in secret. They were starting to discover things that worried them. Some aliens had tried tiny amounts of human spices in their laboratories. The results were surprising. Instead of getting sick, some aliens got smarter. Others became more creative. A few even reported feeling happier than they had ever felt before. This information was dangerous. If the Galactic Council learned that human food was actually good for aliens, their whole story would fall apart. They had told everyone that humans were dangerous and needed to be controlled. If that was a lie, the Council would lose all their power. So the alien scientists kept their discoveries secret. They met in hidden places and shared their research quietly. They were as much rebels as the humans were. The underground spice trade kept growing. People who had never broken a law in their lives became smugglers. Teachers and doctors in office. Workers learned to hide pepper in their shoes and vanilla in their medicine bottles. The aliens kept making new rules and using more powerful scanners. But for every new rule they made, humans found 2 new ways around it. It was like trying to stop water from flowing. The spice would always find a way. Bobby's restaurant had become a symbol of human resistance. People came from all over the world to eat there. They paid everything they had for a single bite of real food. Not because they were hungry for nutrition, but because they were hungry for meaning. This is about more than food, Bobby told his customers as they sat in the dark tunnels eating by candlelight. This is about the right to be human. The right to choose what goes into our bodies. The right to keep our culture alive. The aliens had started a war they did not understand. They thought they were fighting against dangerous weapons, but they were really fighting against the human spirit. And that was a war they could never win. The old subway tunnels under Tokyo had been empty for 20 years, but now they were full of life again. Master Chef Hiroshi had turned the abandoned train stations into secret kitchens where dozens of people worked day and night to keep human food culture alive. "Maria, how are the fermentation tanks doing?" Hiroshi called to his second-in-command as he checked the temperature gauges on the wall. "The kimchi is perfect and the sourdough is growing strong," Maria replied while stirring a large pot of something that smelled like heaven. "But the chili greenhouse is getting too hot. The alien scanners might detect it soon." Above them, the alien patrol ships flew over the city every few hours, using special equipment to look for signs of illegal food production. They had no idea that hundreds of feet below the streets, humans were creating the largest food resistance network in history. The underground flavor network had spread to every major city on Earth and beyond. In London, former restaurant owner James had built a laboratory where he made concentrated flavor extracts. In Mumbai, grandmother Priya taught children how to identify spices by touch alone. In Mexico City, farmers grew hot peppers in hidden caves. "We are not just preserving recipes," Hiroshi explained to his newest recruit, a young woman named Amy who had lost her job when the aliens closed all the restaurants. "We are preserving the soul of humanity itself." The network worked like a web connecting the whole world. Smugglers carried microscopic amounts of spices hidden in their clothing. Diplomats used their special mail privileges to send tiny samples between cities. Even some alien scientists secretly helped by looking the other way when they found evidence of human food production. In his London laboratory, James had made an incredible discovery. He found that he could create the taste of any food using just basic chemicals. A few drops of his bacon essence could make a nutrition block taste like a full breakfast. His vanilla extract was so strong that one bottle could flavor food for 1,000 people. The key is understanding that taste is just chemistry, James explained to his assistant Rachel as she watched him work. If we cannot grow the real ingredients, we will build them atom by atom. Rachel held up a small bottle of clear liquid. This really tastes like chocolate? Better than chocolate, James said with pride. This is chocolate concentrated down to its pure essence. One drop contains all the flavor of a whole candy bar. The network had to be careful because the aliens were getting smarter about finding them. They had developed new scanners that could detect human food compounds from miles away. They had created computer programs that could predict where the resistance might hide their operations, but humans are very good at adapting to new challenges. They learned to mask the smell of cooking with other scents. They built their kitchens deep underground where the scanners could not reach. They created fake businesses on the surface while the real work happened in secret basements. The children were the most important part of the network. They were young enough to learn quickly and small enough to move around without attracting attention. They memorized hundreds of recipes and could identify herbs and spices just by looking at them. Remember, old Chef Giuseppe told a group of 12-year-olds in a hidden room under Rome, if the aliens catch us, they will take away our recipes. But they cannot take away what is in your minds. You are the future of human food. The network was not just about preserving the past. It was also about creating new ways to make food in a world where the old ways were forbidden. Scientists worked with chefs to develop new techniques. They learned to grow herbs in tiny spaces using special lights. They created new preservation methods that could keep spices fresh for years, but the most important discovery came from an unexpected source, Dr. Core. The alien scientist who had been studying human eating habits had been doing secret experiments on himself and other aliens. What he found changed everything. My research partner, Dr. Core, said to his colleague Dr. Ela during a secret meeting in space, I must tell you something that could get us both in serious trouble. Dr. Ela's water-like body rippled with concern. What have you discovered? Human. Spices do not harm us, Dr. Core said quietly. They make us better, stronger, smarter. The compound they call turmeric healed injuries in my body that I have had for years. The substance called ginger improved my memory and made me think more. Clearly, this was the most dangerous information in the galaxy. If the Galactic Council learned that human food was actually beneficial to aliens, their whole system of control would collapse. They had built their power on the lie that humans were dangerous. Dr. Ila tested the information herself and found the same results. Other alien scientists began their own secret experiments. They discovered that human food contained compounds that could improve health and intelligence in almost every known species. The alien scientists formed their own secret network. They shared their research carefully and quietly. They knew that if the council discovered what they were doing, they would be arrested or worse. Meanwhile, the human resistance was growing stronger every day. They had learned to coordinate their activities across the whole planet using coded messages and secret signals. When the aliens shut down one operation, 3 more would appear somewhere else. The nutrition blocks that the aliens provided were supposed to keep humans healthy and happy, but they were having the opposite effect. People were losing weight and getting sick. They had no energy and many were falling into depression. The human body needs more than just vitamins and minerals. Dr. Park reported to the resistance leaders during a secret meeting. It needs the complex compounds found in real food. The aliens are slowly starving us even though they think they are helping us. This gave the resistance a new strategy. They began documenting how the nutrition blocks were harming human health. They collected medical data and testimonies from people who were getting sick. They prepared a case to prove that the alien food was actually more dangerous than human food, but they needed more than just evidence. They needed a way to show the galaxy that human food was safe and beneficial. They needed to prove it in a way that could not be ignored or covered up. That was when Captain Reed proposed the most ambitious plan in human history. They would organize a galaxy-wide taste test that would prove once and for all that human food was not dangerous. They would coordinate with the alien scientists who were secretly supporting them. They would broadcast the results to every planet in the galaxy at the same time. "This is our chance," Reed told the assembled resistance leaders. "We will show the galaxy that we are not dangerous. We will prove that our food is a gift, not a weapon. We will take back our right to be human." The plan was incredibly risky. If they failed, the aliens would crack down even harder. But if they succeeded, they could end the embargo and save human culture forever. The Underground Flavor Network began preparing for the biggest operation in their history. They would need perfect timing, flawless execution, and a lot of luck. But they had something the aliens did not expect. They had the power of flavor on their side. The secret meeting happened in the dark space between star systems where no government had control. Dr. Core had called together scientists from 12 different alien species to share the most dangerous information in the galaxy. They met on an old mining station that had been abandoned for decades. The rusty metal halls echoed with the sounds of different breathing apparatus and translation devices. Each scientist risked everything by being there. "My friends," Dr. Core began, his voice shaking with emotion, "what I am about to tell you will change everything we thought we knew about the universe." He activated a holographic display that showed brain scans from dozens of different species. The images glowed in the dark room like colorful flowers. "These are the results of our secret experiments with human food compounds. Look at the increased brain activity. Look at the improved healing responses. Look at the enhanced creative thinking patterns." Dr. Illa's liquid form rippled with excitement. "Our tests on the aquatic species show the same results. The human substance called ginger increased our regeneration abilities by 30%. The compound turmeric reduced inflammation and improved our natural healing." One by one, the other scientists shared their findings. The robot species reported that human spices improved their biological components. The crystalline beings found that certain herbs helped them resonate at higher frequencies. The gaseous entities discovered that human aromatics enhanced their communication abilities. "The evidence is clear," announced Dr. Zephyr, a floating energy being whose species had no physical form. "Human food is not dangerous. It is beneficial in ways we never imagined. The Council has been lying to us." Back on Earth, the Underground Flavor Network was preparing for the biggest operation in human history. Captain Reed stood in the secret command center built deep under Mount Rainier, surrounded by monitors showing resistance cells all over the galaxy. "Tomorrow we prove to the universe that human food is not a weapon," Reed announced to his team. "We will coordinate taste tests on 47 different worlds at exactly the same time. The results will be broadcast on every communication channel before the Council can stop us." Maria Santos, now the head of operations, pointed to the complex timeline displayed on the main screen. "We have hidden kitchens ready in every major star system. Each one is prepared to make food specifically designed for the alien species in that area. We have studied their biology for months to get this right." The plan was incredibly complex. Human chefs working with alien scientists had created special recipes for each species. The reptilian aliens would get dishes with compounds that enhanced their cold-blooded metabolism. The insect-like species would receive foods that boosted their hive mind communication. The plant-based beings would taste nutrients that accelerated their photosynthesis, but the plan faced a serious problem. Intelligence reports showed that the Galactic Council was not just planning to maintain the embargo. They were preparing something much worse. "The Council is assembling a sterilization fleet," reported Tom, the communications officer. "They plan to destroy every farm, every garden, every seed bank on Earth. They want to make it impossible for humans to grow food ever again." The room fell silent. This was not just about preserving culture anymore. This was about survival. If the Council succeeded, humanity would be dependent on alien nutrition blocks forever. "How long do we have?" Reed asked. "The fleet will be ready in 3 days," Tom replied. They are calling it the Final Sanitation Protocol. The timeline had just changed. The taste test revolution was no longer just about proving a point. It was about preventing genocide. In the hidden kitchens around the galaxy, chefs worked frantically to prepare for the operation. Hiroshi's team in Tokyo had created delicate broths for the water-dwelling species. James in London had developed concentrated flavor compounds for the energy beings. Priya in Mumbai had prepared aromatic spice blends for the scent-sensitive aliens. Each dish was a masterpiece of culinary science. The chefs had to consider not just taste but also the alien biology, psychology, and cultural preferences. They were not just making food. They were making medicine, art, and diplomacy all at the same time. Remember, Hiroshi told his team as they made their final preparations, we are not just feeding alien bodies. We are feeding their souls. We are showing them what it means to be human. The council was not idle during this time. They had detected increased activity in the resistance networks and were moving to shut them down. Council Prime Veltar appeared on emergency broadcasts warning all aliens to avoid any contact with human food. The humans are planning a final desperate attack, Veltar announced, his 4 eyes glowing with anger. They want to poison the entire galaxy with their toxic substances. Any alien who participates in their illegal activities will be arrested and punished. But the alien scientists were ready for this. They had been planning their own rebellion for months. When the council tried to shut down their research, they revealed their findings to the public. The council has been deceiving us, Dr. Kaur broadcast on scientific channels throughout the galaxy. Human food is not dangerous, it is beneficial. We have proof that these substances can improve health and intelligence in every known species. The revelation caused chaos throughout the galaxy. On dozens of worlds, aliens who had been eating nutrition blocks for months began demanding access to human food. The Council's authority started to crumble as their own people turned against them, but the most shocking discovery was yet to come. As more data came in from the secret experiments, a pattern emerged that no one had expected. Human food did not just provide health benefits. It activated dormant genetic sequences in alien species. It unlocked evolutionary potential that had been sleeping for millions of years. The Altarian species developed new emotional capabilities. The Zentari began showing unprecedented creativity. The mechanical beings started experiencing something like feelings. Human cuisine was not just food. It was a catalyst for galactic evolution. This explains everything, Dr. Ila realized during an emergency meeting of the rebel scientists. The Council did not ban human food because it was dangerous. They banned it because it was too powerful. They were afraid of what we might become. The implications were staggering. If alien species could evolve by eating human food, then the entire power structure of the galaxy would change. The Council's control depended on keeping the different species separate and limited. Council Prime Veltar made one final desperate attempt to maintain control. He activated the sterilization fleet early, hoping to destroy Earth's food production before the taste test could happen. Even if these lies about human food are believed, he broadcast to the galaxy, we cannot allow such dangerous creatures to exist. The sterilization of Earth will proceed as planned. But it was too late. The taste test revolution had already begun. On space stations and planets throughout the galaxy, aliens were tasting human food for the first time. The results were being recorded and broadcast faster than the Council could stop them. The final battle for humanity's right to exist was about to begin, and it would be fought with the most powerful weapon humans had ever created, the power of flavor itself. The day that would change galactic history forever began with the smell of cooking food in hidden kitchens across 17 star systems. The greatest culinary event in the history of the universe was about to unfold on the abandoned mining station. Where the rebel alien scientists had been meeting, Dr. Kaur nervously checked his recording equipment one last time. Representatives from 43 different species had gathered to participate in the most important taste test ever conducted. "Are you sure we should do this?" asked Dr. Ila, her liquid form shimmering with worry. If the Council discovers what we are doing, they will arrest us all. Then we will face the consequences together, Dr. Core replied firmly. The truth must be revealed, no matter the cost. The space around Earth was filling with ships as the Council's sterilization fleet moved into position. Massive vessels carrying weapons that could burn entire continents were preparing to destroy every farm and garden on the planet. In the Resistance Command Center, Captain Reed watched the enemy fleet approach on his tactical display. How long until they reach firing position? He asked his tactical officer. 6 hours, Captain, came the reply. But the taste test broadcast begins in 1 hour. We might have enough time to change everything. On Earth, the underground flavor network had transformed into a precision military operation. In the hidden kitchens from Tokyo to London to New York, master chefs prepared their final masterpieces. Each dish was designed specifically for the alien species that would taste it. Hiroshi directed his team with the intensity of a general commanding troops. Every dish must be perfect, he called out over the noise of cooking. We are not just making food. We are making history. The crystalline beings would receive delicate mineral broths that resonated with their silicon-based bodies. The gaseous entities would taste aromatic compounds that could be absorbed through their energy fields. The machine species would consume electrolyte solutions that enhance their biological components, but the most important dishes were being prepared for the Council members themselves. If the Resistance could prove that even the most powerful aliens in the galaxy could benefit from human food, the embargo would end forever. The broadcast began exactly at the planned time. On screens throughout the galaxy, beings watched as the first alien volunteers tasted human food. The results were immediate and dramatic. A reptilian scientist bit into a small piece of ginger-spiced fish, and immediately his cold-blooded metabolism began functioning more efficiently. His scales brightened and his eyes became more alert. The monitoring equipment showed that his brain activity had increased by 40%. Remarkable, he reported to the cameras. I feel more alive than I have in years. The flavors are incredible. But more than that, my body is responding in ways I never imagined. Species after species reported similar results. The aquatic beings showed increased healing rates. The insect-like creatures experienced enhanced hive-mind communication. The plant-based aliens found their photosynthesis accelerating, but the most shocking transformation happened to the energy beings. When they absorbed the aromatic compounds from human spices, their light grew brighter and their consciousness expanded. They began experiencing emotions for the first time in their species' history. We understand now, one of them communicated through waves of colored light. This is not just food. This is evolution. The humans have given us the gift of growth. Council. Prime Veltar appeared on emergency channels, his 4 eyes blazing with desperate fury. This illegal broadcast is spreading dangerous lies, he announced. All citizens must cease participation immediately. The sterilization fleet will proceed as planned, but his words fell on deaf ears. Across the galaxy, aliens were demanding access to human food. The Council's own people were turning against them as the evidence became undeniable. Dr. Core's voice came over the broadcast, trembling with excitement. The data is clear. Human food contains compounds that benefit virtually every known species. In the galaxy, we have not been protecting ourselves from weapons. We have been depriving ourselves of medicine. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. On hundreds of worlds, beings who had been eating nutrition blocks for months began rioting and demanding real food. The Council's authority was crumbling as their lies were exposed, but the revelation went even deeper than anyone expected. As more data poured in, the scientists made a discovery that shook the foundations of galactic civilization. Human food was not just beneficial. It was activating dormant genetic sequences in alien species, unlocking evolutionary potential that had been suppressed for millions of years. The different species were becoming more than they had ever been before. The Altarians developed enhanced empathy and emotional intelligence. The Zentari displayed unprecedented creativity and artistic ability. The mechanical species began experiencing something resembling love and friendship. This is why the Council banned human food, Dr. Illa realized during a live broadcast to the galaxy. They were not afraid of it being dangerous. They were afraid of what we would become if we evolved beyond their control. The implications were staggering. The Council's power had always depended on keeping the different species separate and limited. If aliens could evolve by eating human food, the entire power structure of the galaxy would change. Captain Reed smiled as he watched the Council's fleet hesitate in their attack. The ships were still in position, but they were not firing. The crews were watching the broadcast and learning the truth about human food. "Open a channel to the fleet," Reed ordered. When the communication link was established, Reed spoke directly to the thousands of aliens who had come to destroy his world. "Soldiers of the galaxy," he began, "you came here thinking you were protecting the universe from dangerous weapons. But now you know the truth. Human food is not a weapon. It is a gift." He gestured to the screens showing the taste test results. "Look at what your fellow beings have become. Stronger, smarter, more creative, more alive. We offer this gift freely to all species. We ask only for the right to exist and share our culture." The response was immediate. Ship after ship in the sterilization fleet began powering down their weapons. Crews were refusing to carry out orders they now understood were based on lies. Council Prime Veltar made one final desperate attempt to maintain control. "Even if these claims are true," he broadcast, "humans remain dangerous. A species that willingly consumes poison cannot be trusted with the future of the galaxy." But Captain Reed had prepared for this moment. The broadcast switched to show Earth's surface, where millions of humans were visible in their cities and farms. These were not the malnourished, poison-resistant creatures the Council had described. These were thriving, creative, passionate beings who had built a beautiful civilization on the foundation of shared meals and flavors. They were artists and scientists, teachers and farmers, parents and children, all united by the simple act of caring about what they ate. "This is what you fear," Reed said directly to the Council. "Not our food, but our humanity? You are afraid because we prove that life is about more than just survival. We show that existence should be savored, not simply endured." The Council's fleet withdrew within hours. Their authority was shattered by the weight of evidence and the rebellion of their own people. The sterilization ships were recalled, their crews refusing to carry out orders they now knew were wrong. But the real victory was not political, it was cultural. As the embargo ended and human restaurants began opening across the galaxy, something beautiful happened. Species that had never communicated before began sharing meals together. Alien chefs learned to use Earth spices. Humans learned to cook for alien biology. The galaxy had tasted freedom, and it was delicious. 6 months later, Captain Reed stood in the same crystal chamber where he had once faced charges of biological warfare. But now, instead of a courtroom, it had become the galaxy's first interspecies restaurant. Beings from across the known universe gathered to share food and stories. Council Prime Veltar approached, his 4 eyes now bright with curiosity instead of anger. "Captain Reed," he said, "my species has requested that I ask you something." "What is it?" Reed replied, smiling. "Do you have anything spicier?" The laughter that followed echoed through the chamber and across the galaxy. It was a sound that would have been impossible before humans taught the universe that the best things in life were worth a little heat. Earth's food had indeed been declared a galactic threat, but it had become something far more dangerous to the old order of things. It had become a revolution, one meal at a time, and the galaxy would never be the same again.